It's just I wanted to see how far I could go. I can't bend and I can't sit. And if I knew you were still in the race, then I'm still staying in the race because I'm not gonna quit. When I finished the 100, I thought I was going to be really happy.
Hey everyone, he's Ricky and I met him in the race. He was also doing the 100 miles and yeah, do you have anything to say?
No, not really. No, I mean I really when I saw you, I'm very surprised that you're 1 year younger than me, right? So I think you were the youngest
I
to
think yeah, us two are
do.
the youngest guys to like participate in that race.
I mean, yeah, that's yeah. Usually when I do these races, I'm very
Yeah,
like
like
I feel like I'm one of the youngest, so it's definitely good to see someone younger than me participate. I'm very
Mhm.
very happy. I mean, I'm like I was pretty surprised.
Yeah.
I mean you're from York too, so we're from the same school. So I'm like, oh, that's very interesting, very surprising. So I
Yeah.
was very happy to see that.
Okay, so after the race, I saw you posted an Insta like
Yeah, yeah.
post, and in that post you mentioned you are your biggest doubter, and you realized that you had to change. What made you realize that you had to change?
I feel like people have this misconception about me when I did first start running. You know, because as you saw in the post, I was pretty big, right? I was around 200, 210 or so pounds. Like people thought I was just running to lose weight, which is
Mm,
just a small part of it. But most of it was just I wanted to see how far I could go. When I first started running, I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna see how far I can push myself
mm,
every day. So it's not like, oh, um, I'm just here to lose weight. I feel like once I lose weight, I'm gonna stop,
mm.
which isn't true. I'm still like, running and doing.
You're still pushing yourself.
Yeah, still pushing myself constantly,
Mm,
it's very hard. So that's what I've been doing. But I mean, I feel like the mindset that I had going into it helped me because when originally went into the 100 miler,
mhm,
I was very anxious. Like I don't think people notice that much, but I was very anxious going to the 100 miler because I've seen what the 100 miler could do to people,
yeah.
and the amount of people that finishes, and it's very hard, especially when
Mm,
you're going into it and you don't really know what to expect. I don't think anybody knows what to expect. But when I finished the 100
mhm,
miler, I thought I was going to be really happy. I pushed the distance. You know, I went the distance, but then I realized that I could definitely push myself even further. You don't really realize that because I feel like
mhm,
now that I can do 100, maybe I can do a 200, which is probably not my agenda anytime soon, but maybe I can complete the 100 miler faster.
mm.
Maybe I can do it under 24 hours.
Sure.
I've met people during the race. They're very they're amazing people. I was speaking with one guy. He wanted to do it under 24 hours. He was a 24-hour race and he started running like 2 years ago or so. And
Mm,
he's a landscaping guy. He's an amazing guy. Just speaking with him. He wanted to do it under 100, the 100 miles under 24 hours, but he didn't complete that. And he told me he was going to do a Halliburton one as well,
mm,
just recently, like 2 weeks ago. But I don't think he finished. Because it was raining at the time, and I think he might have got injured. I don't know. That's just an assumption I've been making. But just yeah, just trying to push myself more or less. That's it. Like that's all I care about, to be fair.
mm. Makes sense. Like the same thing happened to me. Like I thought I would be happier after the race because I really pushed myself, and immediately like there was this moment where you cross the finish line and you're given the medal, like like 1 minute or 2 minute frame. You're like, oh yeah, I did it. But then after that, you're just like, oh, I could do this better. Maybe if I had like let's say better shoes, or if I had better nutrition, if I had better training, I could have pushed myself more. And I think I even commented on your post too, like next is a 200 miler, and I know both of us are gonna definitely do it. Maybe
Yeah,
not
yeah,
next
we'll
year,
see.
but I think soon enough, one of us gonna do it soon enough.
Yeah, one of us. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so like you are obviously mentally more prepared than I was. I had to rely more on my gear and you're just there like I'm gonna send it, I'm gonna send it. And I'm like, damn, this guy is like on another level. And I just want to ask, like, what was your training? Like what was your training that looked like? Like, did you follow a plan? Did you hire a coach? Or you were just there like,
Right.
what did you do?
I didn't have any coach or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm very lucky that my job that I have is like I'm working from home, so I do
Mm-hmm.
have a lot more time to train because I
Mm-hmm.
don't have to commute to the office as often as some other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. So I'm using that extra time like every day in the morning. Like I'm waking up like pretty early, like
Mm-hmm.
6 or so, just to get out there and go on for a run. I I usually go for like a 10, maybe to a half marathon. Like I try to every day. And and maybe on the weekends I might go longer. Funny thing is I never really had a practice longer than a 30-kilometer like long run. So it's pretty, I don't know how I survived, but I guess like I'm more like very consistent with it. So
Mm-hmm.
I can like have like really high mileage every week. So I think I was doing maybe like 100 or 120 miles, not miles, but kilometers a week when I
Mm-hmm.
was training for that. But before that, I also like trained before that because I had races before that. Well, because I did the
You did
100K.
Sulfur Springs,
Yeah, I
right?
did Suffer
Sulfur
Springs
Springs, yeah.
100K in May. That I mean that was really tough. I also did the first Trailblaze in the first week of July. So that was a 50K, but that was a point to
Mhm.
point and it was more technical. So that was pretty tough as well. So I mean, that's more or less what I was doing. I I also was trying to because I know when I was going into the 100 milers, like I knew I had to go eat a lot. So I was just trying to eat as much as I could. I think I could have incorporated that a little bit better in my training. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really. I'm just like, just
See how
doing
it
what,
goes.
yeah, more or less it, yeah. So yeah, I knew in the race I had to eat a lot. So I was just trying to stuff everything just in my stomach, more or
Yeah.
less. Yeah.
But
I
you
mean,
also mentioned like that made you like get issues. Like I think you had diarrhea, then you were
yeah.
vomiting and like it didn't react very good with food, like your stomach.
Yeah, I had like a marathon left to go, so I think I had like seven more loops, and my stomach was like not going really well, so I had to use the washroom every time I finished this freaking loop. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I kind of pushed through it. Definitely, there was like times I wanted to quit, like during that time. I'm like, no, I mean, even if I quit, who's gonna pick me up anyways? So I'm not gonna Uber home because I live in
Mm-hmm.
so it's very far. But yeah, I just try to push myself. Like I knew you were still pushing yourself, so I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna quit now. Like, okay,
Yeah.
if I'm pushing, I'm gonna push. So that's more or less it. Because when I saw you, I thought you were like one loop ahead of me. So I'm like, I was trying
Yeah.
to catch up to you, but then I realized I think you were like one loop behind me or so, or
Yeah.
maybe.
I think I was one loop behind you because
Okay, yeah.
I had to like stay and I have to roll my legs because my legs were just trashed. So I
Oh,
think
okay,
you
right,
overtook me
right,
there in
okay.
that time, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah.
I might have missed that, but yeah, it was like pretty. Yeah, I was just trying to push myself, and if I knew you were still in the race, then I'm still staying in the race because I'm not gonna quit.
It's like a good competition. Like if you're not gonna quit, and I have felt that before with my friends too. And it was same for me. Like I would ask my crew, like if it's still in the race, I'm not quitting too.
Yeah,
Like
I'm not going. Yeah, there's no way I
you're
was.
just gonna
Yeah,
finish it. Like
yeah, because I was asking your crew like how you were doing, and then
mm,
they were like, yeah, this like I mean he's looking good, but I think they told me like every step you were taking was like pretty painful.
yeah,
So I'm like, yeah. So same with me. So I'm
yeah.
like, yeah.
Did you get another pair of shoes in that race, or you just wore the same shoes?
I I wore the same shoe the entire time, and I didn't want to sit down to take
Mm-hmm.
off my shoe. I think I only sat down when like very early on. Like I think like at noon, like I took off my shoe and I asked one of your friends to help me take out rocks. My shoe,
Yeah,
I can't really bend. I'm like I can't bend and I can't sit. So you just like help me just take this. take the rocks out. But yeah, I mean, yeah, they were very helpful. So I didn't change
Mm.
shoes. Um, I did want to change it to running shoes, but then I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna stick with it and
Nice,
just
nice, nice.
realize.
You must have had a point where like you thought that you are done and like I think like your mind would say, okay, now it's the time to quit. Like you can no longer go. Like I know your mind would have told you, like, hey, let's quit, let's quit, let's quit, let's give up. But like this for me, I had this moment, so I'm pretty sure you would have this like this there, like, no, it's done and done. Like you're very deep and you're just done, like completely done. Like how the hell do I even think about what's coming next? Did you have a moment like that? Or it was more of a constant?
I felt mine was more constant.
Hmm.
I felt like because I was just trying to figure out, just take one step at a time.
Hmm.
Because if I knew like I didn't want to sit down, I didn't want to get comfortable, so I was moving like pretty conti pretty like actively. Uh,
Hmm.
I would say, Uh, like I like I knew the longer I was at the aid station or I was at the camp, like I knew I was gonna have those thoughts like, oh, you should probably,
Quit.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, quit because it's like staying in your bed.
Mm,
It's like it's easier to stay in your bed. So I mean, once you get out of bed, it's like you're gonna be more active. So I was just trying to like, okay, like I do want to quit, but I'm just like, no, I have to be more active. I felt that was pretty hard as
mm,
well because because I felt like so I had a marathon left, so I was trying to push myself, but I felt like I could have ate a little better,
mm,
because I was rushing the station, just trying to get on my knees, and I kept on going,
mm,
but I felt like I could have uh ate a lot more. I felt like during that time,
mm,
because I know there was a guy that did the 12-hour day race.
mm-hmm,
He's like I think he came back and he was telling me like, oh yeah, you should still complete like still be eating and still like hydrate. Otherwise,
mm,
like you're gonna DNF, even though you
yeah,
might have 2 laps left. So he's like, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna continue eating my salt pills. But yeah, that's more or less what I'm what I try to do, just stay active, and I kept on going.
mm. Did you have like a nutrition plan before you went into the race, or like you're just going like how your body was feeling?
I was What I brought for Ken was I bought a lot of like pizza and hash browns, but I kind of ate that within like 12 hours. I'm like, crap, I should have bought more food. I realized like, oh, no, wait, I kind of ate everything kind of quick. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I guess I'm gonna rely on the aid station a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a
You
little
also
bit.
had gels, right? Like
Yeah, I did have gels.
mm-hmm.
I managed to use most of my gels, I
Mm,
think, but my gels didn't have caffeine, so I felt like I could have used like
mm.
had gels with
Caffeine
caffeine.
one, yeah.
But I mean that I could bring that next time. But I felt like caffeine. The reason why I didn't bring caffeine,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt like that's gonna like increase my heart rate, and I
Mm.
didn't want to increase my heart rate too much. I felt like that's not gonna be too good. But I felt like I could have incorporated a little bit of caffeine more. Like I know you offered me an energy drink. I'm like, okay, I think that's a little too much caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe next time. So how many energy drink did you actually have?
Oh, I just had like one Red Bull at like
Oh, one or two. Okay.
1 a.m. I would say.
Okay.
And my gels had caffeine in them, so I had
Okay.
mixed my gels, so like one
Oh, okay.
without caffeine, one with caffeine, and I would just keep balancing and I would
Oh,
just
I see. I
see
see.
how it
Okay.
goes from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. I did have a lot of caffeine because every time I finished the loop, I was drinking a can of pop at the aid station.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of like a running joke now because I drank like 10 or 15 bloody Cokes, and they're like, my friends were like, what the hell's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm perfectly fine,
Yeah.
but I felt like when I was recovering, I had a lot of like inflammation on my
Mm.
face, a lot of pimples. I'm like, crap. Maybe I should tone down on the can of pop because that's a lot of sugar. And I mean, good thing nothing happened to me, but it's That's a lesson for next time. That's a lesson for
Yeah,
next time.
but I feel pop is really good. Like it gives you the caffeine and the sugar
Yeah.
rush, and it helps you to keep moving, you know. In,
Yeah, for
in
sure.
like these long distances, you don't really think about like the 100. You just are focused on getting the next
Yeah.
mile done. Or for me, it was like getting like I divided the course in 3 levels. I don't know if you did something similar. So level one was like, you know, up the uphills and downhills. Then there was a 2.5 kilometer
Right,
straight
right,
road.
right.
So that
Exactly.
was level two. And then again, when we turned left and we went downhill and it started going up and down, up and down, that was level three for me. Did you do anything like that? Like mentally, or you're just there like next step, next step, next step?
Yeah, kinda.
Mm.
I know that 2 kilometer stretch. I was just trying to run it more than
Mm-hmm.
anything, or as much as I could. I
Mm,
was just trying to walk the downhills more or
mm,
less. Like even in the beginning of the day, I was just trying to walk the downhills because I know if I start running it, my quads are really gonna start hurting
mm,
like later on in the race. But I mean, it still did anyways. But I felt like since I walked it in the beginning, it hurted like later, not like earlier. So I felt like that was a good strategy.
mm,
Um,
mm.
more or less what I did. I think I worked okay. Maybe there's more room for improvement, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, maybe in your next 100 miler.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
next
I
one.
feel like if you don't do your first one, you wouldn't know that you are messing up here, and it
Yeah,
allows for you to get better in your next one.
yeah, yeah.
Makes sense, makes sense. And I know we already discussed this, but we didn't record, so I'm just gonna ask this again. What is your next goal? Like the next big goal that you think you can't do it, but you want to try and do it. If it's
I
running or even any other, like you have.
Yeah, I do have a couple of goals I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, okay. Let me just backtrack a little bit. The first thing is I do want to run a sub three marathon eventually. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one of my goals. So I mean it's still very challenging. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely different from an ultra, but it's very hard because I felt like the thing is like I felt like if I could run a sub three, I can hopefully qualify for the Boston Marathon. But I think they kind of changed the Boston qualifying time a little bit. Before it was sub three, like you could go into Boston, but then I think they changed it for 2026 or something where you got to run a sub 2 hour 55, which is
I think it's 45. I can't remember, but I think it's 45. 2 hour 45 minutes.
oh 2 hours 40. Okay, then no wait no I think it's 2 hours 55.
55? Oh, okay, then I'm
Yeah,
maybe
for
confusing.
my age group, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 2 hours 45. That you're like sprinting the entire time. Like every time I'm looking at the Olympians, I'm like, how are they like so quick? I can't even do that for 1 kilometer, and they're
Yeah,
like
like
for
their
like
pace is
40K.
insane.
I know. I'm just like, what the hell? It's
Mm.
crazy, but they're
Mm,
unbelievable athletes, man. I also want to complete uh 100 miler under 24 hours.
mm,
So that's another goal. I also want to do the Halliburton one. I heard that that's probably one of the most challenging ones in Ontario. So I do want to complete it. Like that
mm,
one's like really hard. I think this year was especially hard because I saw like on like videos like in the beginning of the race. I mean it was really dark because I think the start time's like 6 or 7, 5 or 6. So it was raining in the beginning. So I'm like I knew the course was gonna be really tough for them. So it's very tough. I think the first place
mm.
just barely got under 24 hours or they didn't get under 24 hours. So if you know first place didn't get below 24 hours, it's a really tough race, right?
24 hours. Damn.
Yeah, so they didn't complete 100 under 24, so it's really tough. Um what else? Oh, I do want to do like an Ironman one day, eventually,
Yeah.
but I always say I'm gonna eventually do it, but I don't have a bike and I don't know how to ride a bike, and I keep telling people I don't know how to ride a bike, but I'll eventually do it. Eventually,
Do you think
might
it's
take a
just
while.
your mind making that excuse that, hey, I don't know how to ride a bike and you could just
No,
buy
I
a
feel
bike? What do you?
I feel like it's really the bikes are really expensive expensive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I feel like if even if I do buy a bike, I'm just thinking like how I'm gonna train for it because Because how I train, like I don't like to wear my glasses and I don't want
Mm.
to wear contacts. So I don't want to even, I mean, if I ride the bike, I don't want to, if I go on the road, I don't want to hit the cars. So I mean, yeah, that's kind of an excuse, but I feel like that's an excuse. But
Mm.
eventually I'll learn. Maybe get some laser eye surgery or something. I mean, we'll figure it out eventually. We'll see.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, that's more or less it. I mean, yeah, I guess they're very ambitious goals. I mean, I guess I'm still very young, because I'm just trying to figure everything out.
Mm.
But
You're
I felt
also
like,
trying to push yourself, like as you mentioned earlier in the start, like
yeah,
you're just trying to see if I can do this, can I do this? If I
yeah.
did that, can I do this too?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very blessed to to feel kind of young and be kind of young. I feel like,
Mm.
but well, we'll see what happens. Like I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. I mean,
Mm.
maybe that might change. Who knows? Because like life changes, I guess.
I agree. I agree. Like your goals are pretty similar to mine. I want to complete a sub 3 hour marathon maybe sometime
Yeah,
next year because I don't really have anything planned for this year. And I also want to do an Ironman. And
yeah,
it's the same for my brother too. Like I like running and he likes cycling. So both of us are like, we are gonna definitely do an Ironman. And also the same thing as you mentioned, like the finishing the 100 miles. I do want to complete it under 24 hours
yeah.
and probably the same race. Like that's, I would say, a personal achievement. I don't know if it would be the same for you. Like, you started over here and this is where you perform.
Right, right. Yeah, it's a
Eh,
good benchmark. Yeah.
After the race, like, can you or do you have a thing like you can pinpoint and say, like, this thing was worth it for all the pain and suffering you went through, or like any skills that you have gained to that 20, I think you finished in 27 hours.
Yeah,
like
just under.
like nothing can teach you. It's only the 27 hours you spent there, like in the pain and suffering, and it taught you that lesson, and you can use this in other parts of life. What would be that? What would that thing be? Or multiple, if you gained multiple insights about yourself.
Yeah, I felt like the 100 really taught me how to how to push myself in really just these very uncomfortable positions
Mm.
because I was telling people
Mm-hmm.
like my legs were kind of crap when I had like the
Mm.
marathon left. I mean, it was kind of the same feeling I had when I was doing the 100K. I
Mm.
had one more loop to go. This was summer swing and it was raining the entire day. I had one more loop to go and I could not run. Like I couldn't
Mm.
run and one loop was 20K. And that last loop took me, I think, 4 hours and 30 minutes because I legitimately couldn't run at all. And my legs were like kind of broken and I actually lost a finger, like a toenail as well. So so
Damn.
so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was tough. That was tough. And I didn't open up my feet the entire day. I'm just like, I'm just gonna just continue going. And
Mm.
I felt like it definitely taught me just to try and push myself and see how far I can go with it. I mean, it also taught me how to be a little more disciplined. I felt like, I kind of have like I'm just trying to like do it every day, more or
Mm.
less. Yeah, just trying to get out there and sometimes I don't feel like going.
Mm.
I think that's everybody, but at least if I could at least go out there I can do a 5K. I don't have to like go all out every single day, but as long as I'm like out there a little bit and just try to meet new people, talk with people, and tell them like that's more or less what I did, and like I legitimately know like anybody could do it
Mm.
because I was like I'm literally just a normal person. I've the funny thing is like I'm I'm starting to join like some run clubs here and there,
Mm.
just like every Saturday because I go with my friends, just trying to tell them to get out there more or less. And people were like asking me, like I'm telling them the same thing. Like if you want to, they have a lot of doubts in their head if they can
Mm.
do like a 10 or half or a marathon or even an ultra. Like I'm telling them like anybody could do it.
Do
Like
it,
seriously.
yeah.
Like I'm very normal, guys. Like and it's funny thing is when I do tell them I did an ultra, they think like I'm some sort of like God or something. I'm like, I'm
Mm.
not. I'm just a normal guy,
Yeah.
just doing what I can, and I mean, I hope
You're
I
just willing and going there knowing that you're gonna face this pain and suffering. And I feel most guys like to stay in their comfort zone. It's more like
yeah,
it's not like if they can finish it. I think the right question would be, do I really want to go out there and push myself? And it will cause me a lot of pain, but do I want to, like, do I want to do it? And I feel like because we are like, yes, I want to see how bad the pain gets, but how much I can even handle. And I think most guys are like, no, we don't really want to push that. And it's a mind that tells keeps telling them that you can't push them, but in reality
yeah,
it's just trying to protect them, like you don't want to go through that pain.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just doing these long distances, like you're gonna like feel some sort of
Yeah,
pain, even
something
if
is
you're like
gonna go wrong, like definitely something is
something's
gonna
gonna
go
go wrong,
wrong.
and
Yeah.
even if you're like an athlete or anything, like they're gonna feel like some pain like during the race or
Mm,
even like at the end of the race because they're pushing they're like they're pushing out of their minds, right?
mm.
So that's why I'm just telling people just to try and go out there and just do what you can because you're gonna surprise yourself. Like I know you're
Yeah, true, true, true.
like I surprised myself like this whole year. I'm like, what the hell? Like Jesus Christ. But yeah, I just want to tell people just like I know
Just do
anybody
it.
to yeah,
Yeah,
just
makes
do
sense.
what you can. If I mean if you can just start out small. I mean like I wouldn't recommend how I approached it maybe sometimes
Mm,
because just trying to see how far I can go.
yeah.
So I mean people aren't like that. It's okay. That's why I'm just telling people just to, just just to go out there. If you can run a 1K, maybe you can do 400 meters or so. I
Mm.
mean, just get some basic exercise because it's still good for your health, anyways.
Like have
So
a starting point, like, instead
yeah,
of
that's a
having
starting
just
point.
at the ending point, you start at the starting point. Like, hey, let me
Yeah,
try 1K, 500 meters. If I can't run, I'll start walking, start jogging,
yeah, yeah,
and you
exactly.
go from there, like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, because I mean, if it's good for your health and you eventually like meet a lot of people.
Mm,
Like even these races, like I would say I'm very quite introverted. But every time I'm participating in like a social, like a run club social, or these races, I meet someone new every time. It's unbelievable.
mm.
Like people
Just
just come
connect
up
with
with,
these guys.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. They just come up and talk with me, and they're like, they're asking me how I got here, and
Mm,
and their experiences, and I ask the same thing. So it's unbelievable because oh, it's a funny thing because when I was doing that 100 miler, we had to do 23 laps, right?
yeah.
I tell people every lap is different because I talk with different people every time. Every time.
Mm,
Oh, so I mean, because you complete the lap, it gets hotter, noon, and then you speak with so many people. I mean, I spoke with a landscaper, I spoke with a professor. There was a
mm,
professor there, and she was telling me there was like a person that completed 100, a 200 miler there, like her friend, like she was there. And
mm.
like it's unbelievable. Just talking with these people and eventually, yeah.
Okay. Did you like get to know any weaknesses while in the race? You got something positive, like, but you might also like get an insight about like a weakness. For me, it was like I have this weak mind, I would say. Like I asked you in the message, like in your last 5 or 4 laps, did your mind still like, tell you to quit? For me, until I crossed that finish line, my mind was like, you can still quit, you can still quit, you can still quit. Like for me, that was like a big weakness I had, and I know I had to stop listening to that voice. Like, did you have any like insight in that area? I would say like it might be your discipline, or you might be your anything that you feel that it was really weak and something they could work on, or you're
Mm,
gonna work that in your future, like areas.
a weakness I had, probably a weakness I had was just at the more or less at the aid station,
Mm,
more at the aid station because I was kind of rushing it and that's more or less it. I mean, yeah, I did. there was a lot of times I did want to quit because my knees were locking up and it wasn't really good. But you know, I had like so many opportunities to quit
Mm,
because even like my friends and family, they're like, you know, what the hell are you doing racing in the middle of the damn night for some reason?
mm,
I mean, I had every single opportunity to quit. I mean, my mind was telling me I should probably quit because, you know, I mean, the funny thing is I was speaking with the professor earlier as I was mentioning, and she said like let me remember what she said. She said like even if you do quit in like 120 kilometers in because your knees I think I was speaking her with her like very early on, so this was like 60 kilometers in. I think she was doing the I think 12-hour race or 6-hour race.
mm-hmm.
And she was telling me like even if you like she knew the longest I did was 100K, right? And she said like even if you pass the 100K, like you could still quit because you know that's the longest you could go. But
Mm.
I was thinking in my head like I'm not. There's no way I was gonna
Yeah.
quit.
You went
Um,
there for 161 kilometers, not 120. So,
yeah, exactly. So I'm like I'm not gonna quit anytime soon. Even though that's the longest I've ran. I'm just gonna try and push myself to
mm,
see how far I could go. Um, I mean, yeah, she definitely did have some valid points. You know, I mean, she's like 60 something. She's like 61, so she definitely has a lot
mm-hmm.
of experience. She's done like 24 hours, under 24 hours before, so she's an unbelievable athlete. But
Thanks, thanks, thanks.
I mean, I definitely listened to her. She said like, don't be afraid to walk
Mm,
like even early on because you're more like investing like your time and your knees because you know you're gonna be hurting like very early on. So I was listening to her. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna walk most of it. I think in the third lap I walked half of it because I was speaking with another guy, but
mm-hmm.
it was more or less it. I just try to stick with a plan and see what you can do with it. More or less it.
Makes sense, makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.